Well, welcome back to another video, everyone. My name is Jason, and I'm a full-time reseller. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that I get a lot of questions about. People are always asking, when is the best time for me to get a store? Or when is the best time for me to move up in stores? So today I'm going to break down the store levels, what you get with each store, and when it makes sense to move from either not having a store to getting a store, or from moving from one store level into the next. When it makes sense for you, when you start to save money by switching up. Now, first things first, let me explain to you why you would want to get a store at all. There are many advantages to having a store, especially if you consider yourself a consistent eBay seller. So let me get into those now. One of the first advantages to having a store is promoted listings. This can really boost your sales on a monthly basis just by promoting certain items so that they're seen more. Being seen more leads to more people possibly buying those items. So with your store comes the ability to promote and set a promoted listing campaign that's a little more automatic and helps cater to what you want. Next, you can put your store on sale. Now, whether you're wanting to keep up with trends, and a lot of different retail establishments will do sales around holidays, you too can put your store on sale around a holiday, or you can just put it on sale to get rid of some of that inventory that you've had sitting around for a while. You're tired of seeing it, you want to mark it 30% off. You go in, it's super quick and easy, and you can put your store on sale. This is a great feature to having a store, and the second reason why I suggest that you do. The third reason is eBay's time away or vacation mode. A lot of sellers, when they go on vacation, don't want to have to worry about the hassle of managing their eBay account. Some people just want to kind of set it and forget it and be away on their vacation, mentally checked out from eBay. And eBay's time away feature is a great way to set your store on vacation mode, and you can be as involved as little or as much as you would like. It's very easy and obviously one of the benefits of having a store. The next reason why I think having an eBay store is beneficial are the simple marketing things that you can do with your store. Very similar to what I mentioned earlier, having the ability to put your store on sale. You can also do things to hopefully attract more buyers, like buy two, get one free, or buy one, get one 25% off. Something like that. Something that helps get more customers in the door, or those customers who are coming in helps them make an additional purchase to the one they're already making. Obviously, great options to increased sales and increased money. Another reason why a store is beneficial is eBay's seller dashboard. They give you quite a bit of analytics. You can measure things from traffic to sales to promoted listings. You can get all the numbers and analytics that you'd like to track whether your business is growing or declining, and to try and gauge different trends with your business. And then lastly, although this isn't the only other benefit, the last one I'm going to tell you about today, and it's the fact that your store looks more professional. And it may be hard to generate how much money in profits or sales is this going to increase versus not having a store. But just having that professional look goes a long way with buyers. The more professional look will help drive in people who trust you and can confidently purchase your items knowing that you're going to take care of them, your customer service is going to be spot on, and you're just going to give them a more professional feel and transaction. So those are many of the reasons why I would suggest getting an eBay store as quickly as possible. But if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, when do I get an eBay store, or at what level? So let me now go ahead and break down what point it's worth it for you to either get a store for the first time or to move up to a different store. Let's start with those people who don't have stores. Now, if you just have a seller account and you don't have a store, meaning you sell a few items but you don't have that storefront on your page, then you probably already know that eBay gives you 250 fixed price free listings every month just for that account, which is great. It allows you to kind of dabble with it, see if you like selling on eBay, get some experience, and then decide when it's right to get a store. So when you finally start to get some experience, you've started selling some items, you've got a little bit of inventory online, when is the point at which you should get a store? First off, eBay has 5 store levels, 5 options for you to choose from: starter, basic, premium, anchor, and enterprise. Those are your 5 options. Now let me just give you a general tip. You can pay month to month. You may decide that you sign up for a store for 1 month and you're not sure if you're going to keep it or not, and in the next month you can let it go, you can cancel the subscription, what have you. Now, one of the great features of eBay's store levels is they give you a significant price cut if you commit to paying for a full year's worth of store. So it doesn't mean that you have to pay up front a full year. It just means you commit to going month to month for the next year. Now, what do I mean by this? For eBay's starter store, if you just want to go month to month, meaning you want to see whether you want this store, you don't want to commit to it, you want to try it out for a month and then you'll possibly drop it, or you may carry it on to the next month, it's going to cost you $7.95 a month. But if you commit to keeping this store for a year, you'll only pay $4.95 a month. That's a $3 difference. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but $3 per month times a year, that saves you almost $40 for the first year. So just keep in mind that when I'm talking to you about the price that it costs to get an eBay store, I'm talking about the cheapest price, which is the annual amount. You commit for a year and you pay month to month. Hopefully that's not confusing. So when does it make sense for a non-store level seller account to go ahead and convert into a starter store? Well, let's compare. And to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and write down and give you a visual of what you're getting with each store. So for those sellers who don't have an account, you get 250 free listings every month. Now let's look at the starter store. The starter store also gets 250 free listings with their account. Now how much is this going to cost? Well, I just told you it's going to cost $4.95 a month. $4.95 a month. Now keep in mind that if you don't have a store, if you go over that 250 listings, you're going to pay 35 cents for each listing that you go over. For the starter store, you're only going to pay 30 cents for each listing that you go over. So how do we figure out when should you go from not having a store to having a starter store, the first level? So I hope this isn't too confusing, but let's go ahead and go on. When you have 250 listings, it makes sense for you to not have a store, unless you just want those features that I talked about and it's worth it for you to pay the $4.95 to get those features, the promoted listings, the ability to put sales in your store, the seller dashboard, things like that. But when does it start to cost you more to not have a store? When you get to 265 listings and you don't have a store, you are now paying more than the starter store. 265 listings. Now, how did I get to this number 265? Well, let's look at it this way. You're paying $4.95 for the starter store if you go to that level. How many 35-cent listings above 250 do you have to get to finally hit that $4.95 in cost? Well, if you do 15 listings over the 250, you will pay more than what it costs to get the starter store. So if you have 265 listings and you're paying for 15 of those at 35 cents a piece because those are extra, then you will be paying $5.25, which is clearly more than the starter store of $4.95. So whenever you hit 265 listings, it's beneficial for you to go ahead and jump up to the starter store. You'll be saving money and you'll get a lot of those features that I already mentioned. So for those who don't have a store level, at 265 listings, you should go ahead and jump into a starter store. All right, now we're going to be comparing starter versus basic. Let's say you have a starter store and you want to know, when does it make sense cost-wise for me to move into this basic store level? Well, let me just go ahead and give you a couple of the details now. With the starter store, we already mentioned, but you get 250 listings in the price of that store. Now that's not a lot, and you can quickly get over 250 listings, so which starts to add up. With the basic store, you get 1,000 free listings included in the price of the store. Now how much does this store cost? Well, we already mentioned that the starter store costs $4.95 a month if you're committing to a full year, and the basic store costs $21.95 a month. So $4.95 versus $21.95. It's a huge jump. So let's calculate, when does it make sense to go from the starter store to the basic store? As mentioned just a second ago, each listing that you go over your 250 allotment in the starter store is going to cost you 30 cents. It's better than the 35 cents you were paying before, but it's not as good as the basic store, which only charges 25 cents. So 25 cents per listing for the basic store. So now we need to figure out, when does it cost more to have the starter store than it actually costs to have the basic store? Well, let's do this. Let's take the difference in these prices. $21.95 for basic and starter, $14.95. The difference is $17. $17 a month to jump from here to here. So how many listings do you have to go over this 250 in order to hit $17 in cost to make it worth it to go ahead and jump up? Well, let's do the math again. I'm going to take the $17, which is the extra cost to jump to the next store, and divide by 30 cents per listing, and that's going to give me 57 listings. So when I go over this 250 by 57 listings, it now costs me more to stay as a starter store than to bump up to the basic. So how many total listings do you need to have in order to go ahead and justify paying less and bumping up? 307 listings. So when you have 307 listings, you are now paying more for the starter store. You should go ahead and move up to the basic. If you're still hanging with me, thanks so much. I know this is all heady math, numbers, geeky stuff, but hopefully it's really valuable to some of you out there watching that are trying to figure out, when does it make sense to me? So let's move on to the next round. Let's say you are the basic store level and you're wanting to know, when does it make sense for me to move into the premium level? Now the premium level is what I have. And with the premium level, you get 10,000 listings. As mentioned before, with the basic, you're only getting 1,000. So 1,000 to 10,000, that's 10 times the amount of listings. With the basic, we know we're paying $21.95 a month. With the premium, you're paying $59.95 a month. So here are the costs associated with each of these stores. What's the difference? The difference from the cost of the basic store to the premium store is 38 bucks a month. Now remember that the basic store only charges 25 cents per listing over the allotment of 1,000. Premium store charges 10 cents. How do we know when we've hit $38 in extra listings in order to justify jumping to the premium? We're going to do exactly the same math that we just did. We're going to take this $38, we're going to divide by 0.25, which is the same thing as 25 cents, and let's see what we get. So when you do the math, 38 divided by 0.25 is 152. So let's add that to the 1,000 listings that you get. It makes sense for you to switch from the basic store to the premium when you hit 1,152 listings. As mentioned before, once you hit this number, you will be paying more to have this basic store than you would to have the premium. Now I have the premium store, and I've often wondered, at what point does it make sense for me, if ever, to go to the anchor store, the next level up? The premium store recently got changed from 1,000 listings to 10,000, and I don't think I'll ever exceed 10,000 that I know of. But just for fun's sake, let's go ahead and calculate that to see what point does it make sense for me to switch from the premium store to the anchor store, and will that ever happen? So we have the premium store, 10,000 listings a month, the anchor store, 25,000 listings a month. Let's look at the cost. The premium store, as mentioned, is $59.95, and the anchor store is $299.95 per month. The premium store costs me 10 cents every time I go over my allotment of 10,000 listings, if that ever happens. Now the difference in price from the premium to the anchor is an additional $240 a month, which is pretty substantial. How many listings do I need extra over 10,000 at 10 cents a piece in order to hit the $240 in cost? When we do the math, we come up with 2,400. So I would need 12,400 listings in my store in order for it to make sense for me to jump from premium to anchor. I'm way off of this, but for fun's sake, that's the number that it would be. Now I want to go ahead and talk about something that I didn't mention before, another perk of having an eBay store. For certain store levels, you get a coupon every quarter to use towards shipping supplies, eBay's branded shipping supplies. Now for the starter store, you don't get that coupon at all. But for the basic store, you get $25 a quarter, $100 a year to use on shipping supplies. For my store level, the premium, I get $50 every quarter or $200 a year. And this obviously can be factored into the cost if you wish. For the sake of simplicity, I didn't really account for these credits that eBay gives every quarter into the math of these monthly totals. Those are just going to be perks that you get if you jump into that store. So just know that if you go from a starter to a basic, You also, in addition to saving money, are going to be getting $25 a quarter to use on supplies. And the same applies from going from the starter to the premium. You will get an additional set amount of quarterly credits to use on shipping supplies. All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap for those of you who are still watching with me. For those who don't have a store, it's worth it for you to go ahead and get a store at 265 listings. For those who already have the starter store, it's worth it for you to go ahead and get the basic store when you hit 307 listings. For those that have the basic store, it's worth it for you to go ahead and switch over when you have 1,152 listings in your store. And for those people who maybe have the premium store like me, it's worth it for you to switch over your store to Anchor once you get to 12,400 listings. I hope this wasn't too confusing, and as always, if you have any questions, please go ahead and reach out in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer as quickly as possible. I'll also go ahead and include a link to eBay's different store levels so you can click on that, read for yourself, find out all the different benefits that each store level gets in case you want to do some further study. And as always, if this video helped you out, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Well, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until the next video, we'll catch you later. Bye.